Welcome to A for No, B for Yes, the Zelda-themed podcast that first dove through the Ocarina of Time and has now moved on to the recently re-released HD version on the Nintendo Switch, Skyward Sword. We're moving on from the beginning of the game and the very first time that we get to dive beneath the clouds and see what else is in store for us, aside from Skyloft and everything else that's up there like floating rocks. I am a half-eaten bowl of cereal, and these are my co-hosts.
I'm a bag of Sprite.
And my name is Tony, Groose's worst enemy.
Groose. My worst enemy.
Why is that?
Your worst enemy?
In the game.
He leaves you alone.
Yeah, I guess he did. He's like he tried to stop us from going out and looking.
Man, I don't want to have a whole season of trying to defend Groose, but, he is in a bad spot right now, and that's kind of on him.
See, you don't have to defend him because as we go through, I'm sure I'll see him in a different light as things happen. But right now, I don't like the guy. He can just take his pompadour and walk over somewhere else.
Yeah, I actually wanted to bring up, hey, like, you guys checked his room, right? You know what's in his room.
Dude, I checked every house in Skyloft.
This man has a punching bag with a picture of a Link on it, or Lunker, or D-Lunker.
Yeah. His face.
Or Cass, yeah.
A weight bench, just because, why not? A full body mirror so he can see himself every time he gets up in the morning. And then a picture of himself.
Yeah, he's big on his image and his fitness, for sure. I mean, it makes sense. You
So
look at this
vain.
dude's upper body strength. There's no way he doesn't lift.
His middle name is definitely Chad.
Groose Chad McFly.
Groose Chadwick.
Yeah. McFly.
It's got to be Chadwick. Just sounds fancier.
Eventually, the great descendant of Marty McFly.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
How much hair gel do you think he goes through a week?
How does he get it? Because he lives in the sky.
That's for sure Chew Jelly.
Yeah, no, like he probably goes into the cave.
Okay, he works out so he can just go outside at night and beat up on some oozes and then slime his hair up in the morning. That makes sense.
Yep.
Man, you don't want to catch Groose at night. Even the Remlets leave that dude alone.
Oh, jeez. Tail between the legs, they just walk away. Like, nope.
He hungers for the jelly.
Oh, goodness. He sleepwalks at night and just goes on a jelly killing rampage.
He just wakes up thinking some magical creature dropped off more hair gel for him every morning.
Oh, this is perfect. I love the blue.
This is my magical refilling jar of hair gel, guys.
Don't worry, it dries clear so you can still see the red. It's fantastic.
Dries clear.
Yeah,
Mostly
it's like Elmer's, It's great.
So there was a few things I wanted to bring up. Because, we're at the point where we're gonna dive, right? We're gonna dive right down through that portal.
Yeah. That is where we're at in the story. Yeah. Was there more about Skyloft you want to go over before we do that?
Just a couple cool facts.
All right. Cool facts with Tony D.
That people might like. Yeah, it's cool facts with Tony, the enemy of Groose.
Okay.
The cereal enjoys this.
Bag of Sprite is concerned.
Oh, goodness. So
they actually do probably sell bags of Sprite somewhere.
They do.
That's
honestly. I was trying to think of Spree, the candy, and Sprite is what came out, and I went with it.
Nice.
Dig it.
So one of the cool things I wanted to bring up was during an interview with one of the creative art directors of Skyward Sword. They were in an interview kind of going over how they actually came upon designing Link, because these characters in this game are a little bit more Disney-ish versus the last games. There's Wind Waker. That game is pretty cartoony. But they just had an interview of how did you come up with, Link's look this time versus the other looks that he's had in the past? And they said, well, we've always had sort of a template, and the template actually dates back to the early 90s. We went with a famous Hollywood actor at the time that we were sort of, we all loved at the time. He had a strong, willed look to him. His young face showed a courageous kind of disposition. And this is what they're saying in the interview. This is what I'm basing this off of. And they're just saying how strong-willed he looked. And so, lo and behold, the actual actor that they went off of was Leonardo DiCaprio from like the first 90s movies that he did, even before Titanic.
Like from What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Past that, there was like a Romeo and Juliet. I think it came out in 95 or 96.
I could see that. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, and if you look at him when he was like in 94, 95, he kind of looks like Link from Ocarina of Time, like adult Link. Just he's got the similar face. It's weird. So I never knew that they were like, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, awesome. That's our model.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it when you look at the Skyward Sword Link.
Wow. I thought they used... I had heard that they had used him, but I thought that was like a... for some reason, I thought that was an Ocarina thing, not a Skyward Sword thing, but...
Well, it was during the interview for Skyward Sword.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that they said that the template that they... Because, you know, beforehand with Link to the Past and all the other games, it was just a 2D, like, blonde-looking dude. They never really had a character, so they wanted someone that would be memorable. And they just took the face of Caprio.
Yeah, I remember for Twilight Princess, Game Informer kind of called him out for making Link look like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Which, at least from the screenshot that they had, it was an early screenshot, but the resemblance was uncanny. It was ridiculous. Huh. I don't know if they actually used him as an That's early funny. Model, but it was a funny picture for sure.
I've never heard of either of those, and I'm gonna have to look into that.
You don't know Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I didn't know that those were the people that were used. I don't know who the Thompson guy is. His face, anyways.
Jonathan Taylor. He was a big like Disney kid. Like I'm trying to remember what the name. Like you remember Home Improvement with Tim Allen? He was one of Tim Allen's kids in that show.
I feel like I might know the exact picture with a very different face from Twilight Princess you're talking about.
Another cool fact that I found that I never knew about in this entire game until I had this playthrough was, you guys know I like to AFK in games a lot and just kind of leave my game open. So I went to Skyloft to upgrade one of my shields. And then I was like, I'm going to start cooking, maybe take my dog out. So I left Link on a bench, and I didn't realize this, but not only if you sit on a bench long enough will it heal you, but Link also falls asleep. Just catering to he's a lazy guy.
I never knew that if you go to the bench up at the top of the town, it gives you like a full panoramic, like it just like the whole camera shifts to make it like pretty much the most scenic angle you can get from that bench. So that you can just kind of sit there and take in Skyloft.
That's really cool. I bet that looks beautiful in the HD version.
Probably.
I don't sit on enough benches.
Because in the original, it looks like a Monet painting because that's how everything looks. And that's actually part of the art style of this game. They use like impressionist paintings and stuff as their inspiration for like how to make it look when you're far away from something. I don't know if that was just because they were trying to work around the amount of like actual processing power they had on their system. But when you're farther away from stuff, it gets like it almost looks like a bunch of like painted splotches, and it kind of blends together. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I got like
you can definitely tell they were trying to cheat something out there.
I definitely saw the HD version and just how amazing it looks, but on the version that we have, I definitely got like watercolor vibes from it. Not even necessarily watercolor, but it just looked weird.
The version that you two have, I have the HD version.
Yeah. No, the HD version looks so nice. I wish I had it. Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah, it is pretty.
So, before we get too far, I just wanted to say that he was in Home Improvement, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I am going to throw up a picture of him in general chat to see if Cam recognizes this person.
I have that open right now.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in Tom and Huck. He played Pinocchio, even though most of that movie he wasn't himself. He was a wooden doll. And then he was, I think, the voice of young Simba in The Lion King. That's from a quick look at IMDb. So he was pretty big back when, like, in the 90s, basically. Like, he was all over the place in what would have been our age of media. Yeah. So I get it. That, I mean, guys, I don't want to say, but I mean, that was over 20 years ago now. So I can understand forgetting about this kid.
Right?
Oh man, there were some other movies I remember him from, but it's not a big deal. We can move on with our episode.
Before we move on, this is like kind of the age that the creative art director was talking that they got Leonardo DiCaprio looking like basically a model inspiration of Link's character design.
Oh, young Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
This is hilarious that we're doing this right now.
I know. It'll make great material.
Wow.
So is there anything else we need to cover in Skyloft right now?
I don't think there's anything we need to cover now.
There's one more thing another cool fact I do have, which actually plays out. Is there any more story that we didn't cover before we actually do go to the plunge? I mean, we've put the tablet into the goddess thing. I don't know what you would call that. The empty slate. And we've opened up the portal, basically. So is there anything story-wise?
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of visual details. I mean, I think in the room with the
in the room where it happened?
With the slate. Yes, in the room where it happened. Where the slate is. The pillars in that room are actually, if I remember right, they're basically swords. Like when you look at them, they have like sword handles, even though they're pillars. It's kind of weird. But then there's like goddess symbols all over the place, and you know, yeah, Skyloft. I mean, there's a lot about it. Like I said, I went into like every house and checked every closet because, you know, every time he told me it was rude to look into closets, and you get almost nothing for doing it. Like you get the rupees out of your own. You don't get anything for looking in all the other ones.
So Link is rich, everyone else is poor.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of repeated closets. Like you'd open them and you'd see like, okay, it's just the same rendering as like the next house over or whatever. Somebody had the same closet, like everything the same in their closet as Link's, that I thought was interesting, but I don't remember which house that was now. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is, a lot of these characters we will interact with when it comes to later side quests and stuff, and I think that's probably the best time to actually talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a whole city full of bird named people.
They're people up there,
and most of them get their 15 minutes of fame. I mean, there's a few that I don't think have side quests, like the shop owner, like the one who sells you bombs and arrows and stuff.
Who is annoying?
He comes across to me like the ancestor of the Happy Mask salesman.
Yep.
Like that's what it looks like his character model was kind of based on. And if you find him at night, his personality is entirely different, and he's just like straight to business. Like he almost comes across as like sketchy in how like to the point he is. And you can even like ask him about it, and he's like, listen, like during the day, it's a different kind of business. I'm trying to, you know, sell stuff. It's whatever. Like here, this is where I live. Like it's like I don't put on the happy face at night. Like, yeah, it's
I need to run into this guy at night.
Yeah, you need to go find his house. He's I mean, he's living with a gold digger a little bit, but you know, his wife don't work. She's just there, like she's like their family emblem is rupees, which kind of messed up. But she just hangs around the house all day and is, you know, she just likes things to look wealthy. So yeah,
she's a bum.
No, he's a hustler. His wife isn't really contributing.
Him and Beetle should be business partners. They should go in together.
You think so?
They got the best business practices. The guy during the
Beetle's so down to earth, though. I mean, I know that he's actually flying a
until you don't buy anything.
Yeah, if you don't buy anything, I couldn't afford anything the first time I went in there. I was just perusing. When I went to leave, he just straight up said, "Hey, this is heavy because you're in it, and you're not even going to support me." And he drops you through a trap door, and you just fall on your face.
It's rude.
It's the worst.
That's hilarious.
And then
you expect me to go back
until you get there.
Yeah. I only had like 35 rupees. He's like, "Man, it's like a minimum 50." He's like, "So you're just going to drop me out a trap door?" Yeah, kind of. Come on, man.
That's hilarious.
And about that mask, that happy guy, Mr. Bizarre Salesman, I love when you walk away from him, he just so dramatically droops his entire head in his arms and just looks like that caricature of somebody walking depressed down the road where their whole body is slumped over. They can't even support their own neck. Mm-hmm. And then he just like walks back to the middle and stands up and starts looking around again.
Yeah, right. I love when you get close how he acts all like meek and sheepish, but like definitely just like follows you around and is like trying to be like, "Hey, you gonna buy something? Go ahead, buy something."
Oh, you looking at that? Yeah, that's a great one. Oh, that one? Oh, yeah, no, I love that one.
Yeah. Arrows, gotta get them. Gotta have them. You don't have a bow? Too bad. Buy it.
That's the last one I got. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of night shops, because like at night he'll buy like 3 specific things from you each time, and they're like normally like the amber relics and stuff like that, like the random adventure pouch stuff. Well, not adventure pouch stuff, but he'll
your
pick
crafting
3 stuff. Yeah, your crafting stuff. He'll pick 3 a night that he'll buy for a good price. But there's another night shop that works the same way, but with bugs, and that one is actually run by Stritch. If you go into his room, like he's got like a bug collection, like bugs pinned to boards and stuff like that. And he'll basically make the same kind of offer. Like he has 3 different bugs he'll buy each night for
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I never talked to Stritch because I just knew he usually works with Groose, so I didn't want to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a secretive dude, man. Like he basically tells you that he loves bugs. Like he thinks they're even greater than Groose. And he's like, not that Groose isn't pretty great. Like he tries to make sure that if you were to tell the story to Groose that,
yeah,
you'd be able to say like, no, he really does like you. He really is your friend. Whatever. Like Groose's friends have to like it, like have to like not worship him, but like, they have to really.
They got to prop him up.
Yeah. Groose has to be a priority in your life if you're going to be friends with Groose. So.
Groose, man.
So that's why he runs his bug shop at night and not during the day. But yeah, I think those are the 2 main ones that actually are like active and going right now. Cause most of the other side quests aren't even really available yet.
Stritch is the tall one, right?
Yeah. Stritch is the tall one. And I mean, his shop isn't really active either because you can't actually get the bug net yet. We won't be able to get bugs for Stritch until after we've gone to the surface at least once. So
yeah.
So he's there and he'll tell you his business strategy and his all of that, but you can't actually do anything about it yet.
Because your hands don't work.
Well, not for catching bugs, they don't. You can kill bugs though. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I like threw a pot at one trying to see if I could knock it off a wall and it just up and died. I was like, whoa. I guess that makes sense.
So kind of funny story about that, I guess. Right after I bought the rod, my brain, the bug catching net.
Yeah.
After I caught the bug catching net, I went down and forgot that I bought it almost immediately, went to kill some grass and accidentally killed both of the butterflies that were there, and then remembered that I bought the butterfly net, pulled it out, ran around the whole island and could not find another butterfly. It wasn't until later that they respawned and I caught a butterfly.
Nice.
It was an oof.
It was an oof. Wow.
Yeah. So I guess that leaves us to the point of, taking the dive, jumping off that whatever wooden pier you honestly want to. I mean, there's like 20, I feel. And
they got docks for days.
They do.
They have the flight deck, but you don't have to use it for anything.
No.
It's not.
And like, what even is the flight deck for? Like, there's no bird that big that needs that landing pad.
Oh, man, that's Gabora's bird, man. He needs the flight deck.
Yeah.
Big old takeoff.
I did try to jump off of a random spot to get to my bird once and was annoyed when I got dropped off and basically treated like a kid that didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, watch out there, buddy. You could fall. It's like, hey, guys. You know the crimson loftwing that was thought to be extinct? It was removed from the line because it's so red. That's my bird. You know how many people live here? I can count them on 30 of something because I don't have that many digits.
It's like, make sure when you jump, you use the designated jumping pads.
That's
all
dumb.
Over the city.
There is a hole to the clouds right here. I want to use this hole.
Right.
Why is this hole off limits?
Speaking of knights that, come and grab you, this cool fact that I found out is there are actually 3 random knights flying throughout somewhere in the stratosphere somewhere. They're random locations. You can just kind of find them flying around. One of the knights has a red tunic, one has a green tunic, and the other has a blue tunic. Basically, kind of like a callback to Link's tunic colors in Ocarina of Time. Or the goddesses. That sort of thing. I thought it was cool. I didn't realize that before.
Yeah. It's funny because you end up with a green tunic because that's apparently the color for that year that you won.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to see if I could find this page with the relationships on it again, but I can't. We'll talk about it another time. But one of those knights is canonically a kid of one of the women on Skyloft. Yeah, they all have names too, but it's they're almost always pictured all together, so it's hard to look them up online and stuff and figure out which is which. But I think the Hyrule Encyclopedia has that information in it.
Well, we can date back to that then.
Yeah, I think it comes up at some point too, but we'll see. There's a few other things we can do, other places we can fly to, but I think we've elected to skip those for now.
Yeah.
And address them in a later episode.
I have a whole episode about the things you can do.
Yeah. So we fly out, right?
To the giant green beam in the sky.
To the giant green beam. That sounded like a horrified, dying human being. What was that?
I was trying to do a Skyloft bird thing.
Oh. I thought that was okay, yeah. Great. That was better. The first one I was like, did we die already? What is
Wait, is he dead? Did he die?
Mayo exploded.
We take off on our journey and end credits. No, but yeah, we take the Loftwing out. Hey guys, you remember how when we first met Princess Zelda in the Ocarina of Time and she told us the whole dream about dark clouds over the world and Link parting the clouds with a green light?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that because we're literally jumping through a green light that's parting the clouds.
It was foreshadowing, but also not foreshadowing because it already happened.
Pre-foreshadowing.
Right? Because the clouds aren't dark. They're just regular clouds right now. They're just overcast, super thick, but, similar kind of thing. I think the prophecy or whatever that Fee told you before was that you're supposed to bring light to the surface, right?
Super
that's
thick.
Part of what we're doing. So yeah, we jump down through the beam of light and we land in the sealed grounds. Yeah, you want to pull out your if you don't use the seal, yeah, Fee will use your sailcloth for you.
I took this as a measure of safety, but I won't do it every time, so make sure you pull it. She does it every time.
She does it
No,
every time.
actually.
No?
Actually, there was 2 times that she didn't. And one time I didn't catch it and I actually splatted.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought she catches it.
Yeah, does it just do the cartoony thing of you splat, but then Link just gets up anyway?
Yeah, I don't even think you lose a heart.
Wow.
You fall 1,000 feet, maybe 2,000, and don't even lose life.
Yeah, you're okay.
You're great.
I think. Maybe I did lose a heart.
Fall damage.
End the game.
What's that?
So, some things to note when we land, aside from the sailcloth debacle, the skies are clear. Everywhere you go on the surface, there's clear skies up above, which doesn't make sense. I think it was oversight because they didn't really want you to be exploring an overcast world all the time, because that would just make the mood seem a lot like more dreary and depressing. So I think they were like,
well, also,
yeah, we'll just give them a clear skybox, even though that doesn't make any sense at all.
wasn't it like, I mean, to talk about the story that, you know, is in the beginning of the game, title screen story, isn't it that the goddess, of whom we don't know who it is, put clouds, like a magic barrier or something, up in the sky so that darkness won't be able to find, you know, like it's sort of like a one-way mirror. Like the surface, or a two-way, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but the surface can't see Skyloft and Skyloft can't see the surface because of the clouds. It's like magic.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that is a magic barrier.
I mean, it would have to be, right? Like, there'd have to be some kind of, like, the clouds are like a cloaking, like a two-way, it's like a one-way mirror, I guess. Or maybe, I guess it would be not quite like that.
It's a no-way mirror.
Because neither side can see.
Right. Yeah. So if you live on Skyloft, then when you look down, you see clouds because magic. You can't see through the clouds, you can't see the surface. And I guess if you're on the surface and you look up, it's not clouds, because that would take, I guess, more clouds to do. I don't know. So maybe instead she just made Skyloft like invisible from that direction. Who knows?
It's almost maybe another dimension.
Or like maybe that's just like to trick the bad. You know, like trick everybody.
Yeah, I've heard the pocket dimension argument, but I feel like they would have said something if that was the case. There's a lot of world hopping and, like, you know, going through portals and even time travel, stuff like that in these games where,
yeah, Link's not a stranger to that.
They never pretend like it's not happening, you know? Like, they never
True.
say, if they're going to do it, normally they go all in on that kind of thing. So I think the story, like the implication is that the surface and Skyloft do exist on the same plane of existence. I don't think that they were going for pocket dimension, but it is one way you could explain it if you really were pushed.
So like when we do land though, it does like a kind of panoramic, right, of everything. You kind of see all the sealed grounds, which is the area that we get to.
Sealed grounds.
Yeah, it shows you the sealed grounds, and then I think there's another cutscene that we don't get until we've already moved forward a little bit. You
fight some Deku Babas, our first surface enemy.
Right.
Call back to Ocarina of Time.
Right.
Which are a little bit more tricky in this game than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. I think feed tells you that there's two different kinds of them, the vertical and the horizontal ones. Like, basically, it's just the way their mouths open up, and it's the way you have to cut them.
They switch too, though.
Yeah, there's golden ones that switch.
Tricky.
I think the blue ones just kind of commit to whatever they have.
Maybe. I feel like the gold ones just have more health.
No, they got the quadra mouth. They got like the 4 pieces. Like, whereas the blue ones, I think, just have like vertical and horizontal mouths.
Yeah, the blue ones are either one way or the other, and then the gold ones can either have it open so that you can slice everywhere, even diagonally, like a giant flower monster opening its mouth, or they either open it one way or the other.
It's a lot.
And then they switch if you don't do it fast enough.
Yep, and that's how they get me.
Annoying. We haven't encountered the golden ones yet, though.
No, not at all. These are just blue ones here.
So the sealed grounds is this like giant pit almost that has like a ramp going down around the entire thing, down probably 80 to 100 feet at least.
Yeah, it's a ways. It's a big spiral ramp that goes down to the bottom.
Yeah. And at the bottom was it a statue?
Yeah, there's like a spire looking thing. It's like a little it looks like it's made out of like chiseled rock or something like that, but it's a I don't know. Technically the game refers to it as a seal. But it's, it's a triangular prism of some kind that, like, I think that might be the wrong way to...
It's a mini obelisk.
Phrase that, but yeah, basically. It's got the goddess symbols on it. It's floating above like a big seal mark on the ground, like a big circle on the ground that's got like different symbols on that as well. It's funny because when you first get here, there's a cutscene of Link looking down at this whole pit. And he kind of has a flashback, or I don't know if it even can count as a flashback, but basically has a vision of the giant, like, evil scaled monster again. And he gets like the Harry Potter forehead pain thing going on where he like slaps his head and he's like, oh, like he's like, you know, having some kind of reaction to this vision.
Ow, my mark, it hurts again.
Yeah, until he like snaps out of it and then he's fine right where he was before. There's a big doorway that we're standing next to, and I guess Fee kind of tells us, hey, there's some kind of mysterious power keeping this door locked. We have to figure out how to open it, which is what brings us to actually head down to the bottom of this pit. Yeah.
I think from this point forward until the game tells me anything else, I'm going to refer to that black monster as Toothy.
Toothy. He's a yeah. I just recently, have you guys ever seen a picture of penguin teeth?
No.
Yeah.
It got me thinking because somebody posted it up recently. Like I just came across it on social somewhere. And I was like looking at this monster that, as far as we've seen so far, like basically waddles around, has all these scales that kind of look like weird feathers, and has all this nasty teeth. Let me go ahead and just look up. I mean, if you just Google search penguin teeth, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm feeling like this guy is like a demon penguin, even though he doesn't really have a beak. There's enough going on where I think that's a hilarious image to me.
I mean, it's not like that crazy.
It's crazy enough to be compared to Toothy.
And they're pretty toothy too when they got their beaks open.
Their tongues also have a like row of like kind of slits to catch fish.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's only one way. Once you get caught in them teeth, there's only one way to go, and that's in.
Yep.
Because they're all directional backwards. Anyway, yeah, I've heard him referred to as an avocado with a toe fungus. There's a lot of good descriptions for this guy. But yeah, our vision ends and we are set to explore and figure out how to open up this door by, you know, I guess removing this mysterious power, and that takes us down to the bottom where we find that seal. And a voice talks to us and refers to us as the Child of Destiny, which is, you know, again, reminiscent to Ocarina of Time. The one who descended from the sky, and he tells us to strike this seal. I think it might even ask us to use a Skyward Strike at this point, but I could be wrong.
I think so.
It does.
Usually it does.
Yeah.
Raise thine sword towards the heavens, and when it gleams with the light, strike me. Yeah.
I guess. But one thing we might notice while we're down here, so last episode we went over this intro statement that the game makes, and we almost skipped it. Like I almost skipped it. I went straight to like Link's Nightmare and stuff, but there was a bunch of other stuff that happens. And I realized going back through, because I streamed it, so I was able to go back and watch the stream again. This scene never happened for me when I started up the game. I guess it was like either a title screen intro or it was a I mean, I know for a fact that it was one of the trailers for the game before it was an intro, but I actually have the text up here. But basically you can see all of the images that played throughout that as like as basically as the text was going, and we might even like recognize now that the intro is spoken by Fee. So the intro kind of goes like this. We've read some of it before, but I'll just go through it again just so that we kind of have this as our context for the game. It says, "This is a tale you humans have passed down through uncounted generations. It tells of a war of unmatched scale and ferocity, the likes of which would never be seen again. One dark, fateful day, the earth cracked wide and malevolent forces rushed forth from the fissure. They mounted a brutal assault upon the surface people, driving the land into deep despair. They burnt forests to ash, choked the land's sweet springs, and murdered without hesitation. They did all this in their lust to take the ultimate power protected by her grace, the goddess. The power she guarded was without equal. Handed down by the gods of old, this power gave its holder the means to make any desire a reality. Such was the might of the ultimate power that the old ones placed in the care of the goddess. To prevent this great power from falling into hands of the evil swarming the lands, the goddess gathered the surviving humans on an outcropping of earth. She sent it skyward beyond the reach of the demonic hordes, beyond the clouds. With the humans safe, the goddess joined forces with the land dwellers and fought the evil forces, sealing them away. At last, peace was restored to the surface. This is a tale that you humans have told for many ages, generation to generation. But there are other legends, long hidden away from memory, that are intertwined with this tale. Now, a new legend bound to this great story stands ready to be revealed, a legend that will be forged by your own hand." So a few cool details. I mean, like looking at the images at the bottom of this, like you'll see, basically an image of like, you know, the head of the demons that came out of the fissure. You'll see images of the goddess carrying a harp and a sword. And another one of her with like this power that right now on the walls is kind of shown by just like a ball of light. Like she's raising it above her head or she sent it up into Skyloft. I mean, just from other games, you might get the hint that a power that can change the world and do all these things that came from the old ones would be the Triforce. But the game hasn't.
I never heard nothing like that.
But the game hasn't told us that. So it could be something else. And then, you know, I think another interesting thing is this is the game refers to the people of Skyloft as humans, not Hylians or not Hyruleans. Like there's no, like the Hyrule doesn't exist yet. And I don't know if the idea of being a Hylian like Link typically just isn't a thing yet. Because right now everybody, I guess, is human. Like they still have the pointy ears from what I can understand. They still live a long time like you'd expect a Hylian, but they're called humans. It's just a weird detail. And then another thing is that like the end, like, you know how last season we kind of talked about how the Legends of Zelda, like you can kind of look at them as like stories that kind of relate to one another, but isn't necessarily a history or a chronology.
Yeah.
This game basically just outright says that in these last few sentences. That there are other legends long hidden away from memory that are intertwined with this tale. Like, you know, like it's almost like, hey, it's not the same story, but it's a story. It's like overlapped. Yeah. I don't know. So that's cool. I just thought that was some cool key details. We've already talked about how like the old gods versus the new goddess and all of that kind of stuff. So don't want to dwell on it too much. But once we get this seal down, that mysterious power on the door opens up. And you might recognize that mysterious power as being some kind of Sheikah-based power. Like, it's literally a Sheikah symbol on the door with, like, you know, different symbols and runes or whatever around it, and it just kind of fades away, and the door is unlocked.
Very reminiscent of Breath of the Wild, which I played first.
Yeah. So the last thing I will say about this before we get to this next room, before we go through that door, if you stop and look up, remember that half of the sage chamber that we talked about last episode that had you know, light, forest, and spirit medallions up on it. This is the other half of that building. Like, if you look up, you can see the other three symbols. What are we looking at? So the reason I know, like, the only reason I know the order is because they actually changed it so that the colors that opposed each other in Ocarina of Time still oppose each other in Skyward Sword. They're just directly across the circle rather than next to each other in the circle. So how that played out is like, if you were to follow the circle around, it would go light, forest, spirit, and then water, fire, shadow. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. We haven't met any new characters. I know that in the previous episode, there was part of the goddess's like prophecy or whatever was that the chosen hero would be guided by someone who looked youthful but also had like immeasurable wisdom, and we said that was Fee. Like, I mean, the game's pretty clear that that's supposed to be Fee. So it's just the first hint that Fee might be the water character in the game. It's kind of interesting because she's a sword, but it is what it is. But yeah, we can make our way through this giant door.
Fee teaches you dousing ability, and it's the most useless skill in the game before we get through the door. She teaches you how to find Zelda, and it's the worst mechanic that's probably ever been in a Zelda game ever to this date.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, it just shows you where to go, I guess.
Yeah, it reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus, but worse.
Yeah. Which actually was useful in that game?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, you didn't have to like go into first person to use it. You just had to turn your character and the light would just focus on the direction you should be heading, which I feel like makes a lot more sense than whatever this was.
Yeah.
Just a mechanic.
This is a good time to mention that I got an amiibo card, which functions the same way as the amiibo would, except it's not the whole amiibo, which is having some stocking issues at launch. And I just wanted to explain the mechanics exactly, because I was wondering how to do it myself, because apparently you have to turn it on or else it just doesn't work. So I was going to kind of go over the process of how to get the amiibo working and how to use it.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have to go into your options and turn the usability of the amiibo in the game on, because it starts off as default, even though if you don't have the amiibo anyways, whether it's on or off, it would just do nothing. So I'm not sure why they chose to start it in the off position. Once you turn that on, you press down to talk to Fee, and then she has a specific option to use the amiibo. Then you use the amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it lets you go from anywhere in the middle of any dungeon, anywhere you want, immediately get shot up into the sky, do whatever you want up there, and then call Fee, and you get put right back in the exact spot that you left.
Does it work already? Like, did you try using it this early on?
It might actually be limited until after you find, like, the first statue.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Right after this temple. This room, I guess, would be a better description.
Well, we get into the room, and pretty sure the first thing you probably see when you enter the room is what's across the way, which is a teepee-looking thing. And you kind of get a little bit closer, and you realize this could possibly be a very old man or woman in a weird teepee garb. And again, I cannot stress on the importance of the teepee, because she really looks like a hut. Anyways, there's quite a few things to do in this room. I mean, there's a revitalizing potion, which is your second bottle, which is really important. So make sure you check the chests.
It's just in a chest, yeah.
Other than that, there's not really much here to do. It's definitely gorgeous, so take a look around. Especially on the HD version, it probably looks amazing in this place.
Yeah, it does.
The next thing is to talk to Hypno, the old lady, because she's got this like weird thing that her hair is just going back and forth, like she's trying to hypnotize you.
Pendulum Grandma.
And she's called the Old One. I immediately got Sheikah vibes the second I saw her.
Yeah. Did you see what's on the back of her teepee?
Oh, I actually didn't look.
So it's basically a gossip stone like pattern. It's the Sheikah eye with the big smile underneath it rather than the tear. But it's like straight up. It's like almost just straight off the gossip stones. But I mean, that would.
And those things tell you the time. And she has a pendulum for like hair that's ticking like the second hand on a grandfather clock, or like whatever the thing is you would call that.
I wasn't gonna bring this up this episode, but I kind of feel like I want to now. If you look at Hyrule Historia, if you're not trying to spoil anything, don't do this. Don't look at Hyrule Historia because it'll tell you more about this character than you need to know right now. But one of the things that they shared in the in like the art pages where it kind of goes through some of the design choices that the developers made, they say that the knots in her hair, there's one knot for every year that she's been alive. Or I don't know if it's that she's been alive or that she's been waiting there in that sealed ground. But basically like the amount of hair that she had, which assumedly goes up into the teepee, is supposed to be an indicator of how long she's been here. Basically waiting for you to arrive.
That's interesting. I don't remember exactly what she says, so I'll let you cover that if you want to. But I did want to mention she introduces us to the beacon system, which doesn't really come in handy at the moment until we get farther in. But it is the same beacon system that was invented prior to Breath of the Wild. It's the Breath of the Wild beacon system that we use. And if you remember at all, like the shrine beacons, basically, it kind of reminded me of the shrines, pointing out the shrines in Breath of the Wild. And then this lady literally looks like the other 300 old wizards that lived in all the shrines in Breath of the Wild, the Sheikah wizards. I mean, I know they all had a different look to them, but she just gave me the same vibe as those.
Yeah, I agree.
Ancient Sheikas.
Like petrified into stone yet, but
No, she's close though.
Give it another couple hundred years.
The dialogue here is kind of interesting. It just kind of tells you where you are. So this old woman, she tells you that you're in the sealed temple, which was a place built by the goddess an eternity ago. He said that your arrival was predestined somewhere back in history, and that the Spirit Maiden was also supposed to arrive. That like the Spirit Maiden you seek arrived here shortly before you, but the Spirit Maiden didn't come there the way she was supposed to. Like getting knocked down from the sky by a tornado was not the method she was supposed to. Like that wasn't how she was supposed to come to the sealed temple, but she was eventually supposed to come. So she says some things about how like the gears of fate had begun to turn and there's an evil power working in the shadows. Basically some like big picture stuff that, isn't very specific. And then kind of goes into like, oh, you're concerned for the Spirit Maiden. Like I get that, but for now you just need to keep moving. And that's when she teaches you about the beacons and kind of directs you to continue through the next door. So some real, I don't know what you would want to call it. Not melodramatic, but like, I don't know, just big cinema vibes. Just, like, oh, big things are happening. Like
that's so. Did she actually say eternity? Because I just find it so funny that it's like an eternity ago. But eternity is infinite or never ending. So it's like, how was it an infinite ago? Just didn't make sense.
That's the line, at least according to this script/text dump that I'm looking at. It says the place
that's hilarious.
Got us an eternity ago. Yeah,
in an unending time ago, in infinite ways and parallels, the goddess did things.
One whole eternity.
Yep, one whole infinite ago.
Not half an eternity, not two eternities, just one eternity ago.
What is the measure of an eternity?
It's little more than a bushel.
Yeah.
A bushel of an eternity.
It's a pinch of the infinite. Just a pinch.
Pinch of the infinite. There you go.
All right. Well, we run outside. We do some more running. We take in some forest and we do some running. And then as we run further,
the beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid.
we get to the place and we see a familiar face.
Well, I guess you could say that. We see a Goron face. Most of the Gorons
That we've never seen before.
I mean,
I just wanted to rhyme it.
They look right. They look like Gorons, so they're familiar in that sense.
Wow, they all look the same, right?
Yo, but I like that he's got like a mountain like of hair. It kind of looks like it's like a mountain peak on his head because he's just pointing up his hair. Or if it's a rock, I don't know.
Yeah, this is Gorko.
Gorko the Goron.
Gorko, which I think is a oh man, it's a portmanteau. Hold on, let me figure out what his name means while you guys talk about him.
One of the cool facts about him is on his slab of rock that he keeps on his waist. It actually has a picture of the Triforce on it. I thought that was really cool. He's researching into the Triforce and knows about it somehow.
Gorko's name is a portmanteau of Goron and Marco, as a reference to Marco Polo, the famous explorer.
That's funny.
So in the French, I guess in the French version of the game, his name is literally Marco Goro, which is hilarious.
Well, actually, before we get to talking about what he tells you about, we actually missed the fact that he was being berated by a bunch of red bokoblins and he was fearing for his life.
No, he wasn't afraid.
No?
He was telling him to scram. He was
okay,
get out of here, scram. Like,
all right, well, he was just chilling.
Get off my lawn.
They weren't listening.
He does say you save him though, so
yeah,
he did something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the way he was talking to them. It seems like maybe Gorons are trained to try to be intimidating in order to like scare away bokoblins and evil forces. Like,
I mean,
it might be one of those things where
I'm sure if he punched one, he could probably send them flying. So.
Yeah, probably.
Gorons are strong boys.
He's a big dude. He's not doing anything right now, but we find out very quickly that he's more interested in knowledge.
Knowledge.
You know what's more important than worrying about red bokoblins? Knowledge.
Oh man.
All right.
So yeah, I have the lines pulled up. I could throw them in Discord if you want to read them, because it is fantastic. These lines. Amazing. about what Gorko thinks, because like he's an explorer. He's looking for clues about Skyloft. Like he's basically a researcher. He's a scholar.
He's a scholar, man. Which is totally not like Goron's.
Yeah, he's very anti-Goron. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to throw the text up?
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna read it, but Anthony mentioned that Cam might want to, and, you know.
Well, I just know Cam thought it was hilarious about what he talked about.
It is hilarious. One thing I just want to note is that his explanation of what he thinks Skyloft is, because he gives you like a blurb, starts off extremely accurate and breaks down so quickly. It is hilarious, and I love every second of it. And that's all I want to say before you get started.
Oh, did you put it up?
It's right underneath the penguin teeth.
Penguin teeth.
All right, I'll put it up in the private chat channel. It's gonna get confusing because I put another setup here as well.
Yeah, I see that.
No, it should be up now.
In the private chat channel?
Yeah, did it not show up?
I don't see it.
What is going on?
All right, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you guys figure this out.
Okay.
I didn't see it the other time you said you put it up either. I assumed you just put it in general and I didn't see it.
Ooh, it's really not. Hold on. There we go. Now it's up. Anthony went to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you need to go as well? Like, do we want to make this our break, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're an hour in, might as well.
Okay. I just figured get out of the way now so we not have like 3 breaks in this episode. Sometimes nature calls. And it's in moments like these where you find yourself left waiting, wondering, when will my co-host return? What you're about to hear is the story of 2 out of 3 podcasters who lost their third in a bout of what could only be described as a story from the South. But not like the actual South. You'll understand when we get into it. In fact, if you want to skip this next section, just go to timestamp 1 hour 15 minutes 34 seconds. Otherwise, buckle up for a podcast within a podcast, where we wait for Anthony to return and discuss some relevant and not so relevant topics at hand. Be sure to join us next time on Where is Anthony?
I'm back.
Nice. Just waiting on Anthony. Do we care about, like, missing things and corrections from old episodes? Not old episodes, but the episode we just did. I feel like we missed a couple of cool details, but I don't know how much it matters.
What did we miss?
Gabora saying, "Did you get all that?" Which is pretty great. And by Gabora, I just mean Gabora.
I feel like that would be something to say, like, right at the end. Like, right before the "Did you get all that?" Say, like, by the way, we never mentioned it, but, and then we say, "Did you get all that?" Or something like that, maybe.
As if the big, like, walking reference wasn't enough. Like, he also made a reference of the caricature as well. Shares the name, has a resemblance. Usually,
yeah, you probably bring that up.
Probably,
We're
probably
somewhere.
Yeah. Spirit animal is a big owl.
True, a very specific big owl.
We could bring it up at the end, maybe if we remember.
Cuckoo.
Hey, kitty. You want to record with me? Want to say hi, everyone? Say hi. Hi, 13 people that watch this.
It's more like 5, but I appreciate it.
I gotta prop it up. It's like my Groose.
Okay.
Well, what are you doing here, little precious? Eh? Being nosy? Rubbing against my pop filter? That's not helping.
Yo, what happened to Anthony?
He fell in.
Did he die?
Well, he doesn't differentiate between number 1 and number 2, and his number 2 can be lengthy. That would be kind of a crappy thing to do.
I hope he didn't, like, eat Chipotle today.
2 bowls.
No. We'll never finish this recording.
And then he washed it down with Taco Bell.
Washed it down with more.
Yes.
Just from a different
Taco
establishment.
Bell. Yes. Exactly. It's the way to live. I need to have Chipotle again soon. There's just none around me. I have to drive like 30 to 40 minutes to get to a Chipotle, and it's not that worth it.
Yikes. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not that worth it.
And there's really nothing out that way that I ever need to go do. So it's like, why go to Chipotle?
Right. Well, the real issue is they need to have a Chipotle in Lockport.
Yeah, they do. They need a Best Buy, too.
Yes, I think they do. I don't live there anymore. I gotta worry about it myself, but it would be nice.
Office Max. Ain't nothing useful coming out of there.
No.
Unless you got an office.
Unless you got an office.
Then I guess you can go get your supplies. But I ain't about that life, man. I need RAM. I need graphics cards, keyboards, mice, washers.
Yeah, they're not maxing out your office.
Refrigerators. Why those things are even at Best Buy, I don't know, but they are. It's great.
Best Buy is just a variety store. It's pretty great.
It's nice, man. It's nice. They need to start selling gaming paraphernalia like socks and sweatshirts and Funko Pops.
Funko Pops. They might have some. They do have a toy section.
They probably do have some Funko Pops.
And the toy section that they have is all based on gaming. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had Funko Pops. I haven't seen like a lot of like clothing and stuff like that.
I bet half of it's Fortnite. Oh, mayo.
Get your Fortnite Funko Pops at Best Buy.
Yeah. Get your Dark Lunker v Light Lunker Funko Pop memorabilia at Best Buy.
Not gonna lie. Dark Lunker versus Light Lunker Funko Pop set would be so choice.
Be dope.
I don't even care if it's the fish. and I actually think just one of the big regular Hyrule bass versus like the loach that shows up every once in a while.
Is Funko Pops of fish? How would that even look?
I don't know. It would look horrible.
The square head thing and then like a little tail coming out behind it and you would just set it on its face? It's my Funko fish.
It's my Funko fish.
I put them in my aquarium. I probably shouldn't. They degrading. My fish dying.
All my real fish are dead now.
That's why it's a Funko aquarium now.
I would say Dark Lunker ate them, but that is not how that worked. I had to flush them down the toilet.
Ate their ability to live away. It's like the Gorons and the rocks. No, not that one. Gorko!
I did a chemical warfare against my fish tank.
I did a chemical warfare. I declared death on my aquarium.
Oh, man. Don't put strange things in your aquarium. It usually does something bad.
Yeah.
Water.
Because stuff ain't meant to be in water all the time, usually.
Yeah, it's the universal solvent.
Tip.
Everything can dissolve in water.
Stuff that ain't designed to go in water probably shouldn't be submerged in water for ever. Especially Funko.
Yeah, if like living things are supposed to be habitating around it.
Yeah.
Watch it be the case that like Funko's actually made like out of entirely resistant things and there's absolutely no problem with putting them in a fish tank.
I'm sure they would have no problem if that's not the case designing them to be that way if they, had to.
If you're gonna fish tank your Funko, make sure you laminate it first.
Yeah. Take the whole thing apart, every little screw, laminate all of it. It won't go back together. It's great. Put it in.
Perfectly
Done.
water resistant up to the 13 inches of your fish tank.
Perfect. Replace lamination every 3 weeks.
Speaking of Funko Pops, why is Anthony still popping a Funko over in his apartment?
The man, Ted's been in the bathroom for a while after hanging out with Sarah. Oh, yeah, he's probably popping Funko.
Did they get Chipotle?
Did they get Chipotle? She fed him Chipotle. Washed it down with Taco Bell.
We're recording so much garbage right now, it's not even funny.
No, this is all going in.
Some of it's going in, for sure, but not all of it. It's all good. I keep asking where he is, like I don't know.
Or like I do.
Right.
Probably taking a dump.
It was your turn to watch him, Cameron. I don't care if he's in Florida.
Where is he? Probably the same answer I gave 3 minutes ago. Yeah, just run down to Florida real quick. I wish I knew instant transmission, bro.
I mean, even if you took a plane, you would have gotten there by now.
Huh. I mean, really, though. Instant transmission. Could you imagine, bro, having that?
I can't imagine having
Just
that.
being able to think about any place you've ever been in your life or thinking about, like, a person and just being able to pop right over to them from anywhere to anywhere. Your body immediately gets destroyed because you just went from below sea level to above sea level. Now you're dead. You got the bends. It's great.
You got the bends, but also you're dead, so you're probably not going to worry too much about that.
Yeah, the bends ain't the problem. You dead. That's the problem. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're dead. All right, end the story.
Instantaneous pressure differential, man. You just,
Yes.
Who knows what it'll do.
But without worrying about none of that jazz.
Yeah.
Poofing on over somewhere.
I think the person, like transporting to a person is dangerous. You probably shouldn't do that. Places, sure. People, I don't know. They could be anywhere, doing anything.
Pop up in the shower. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up?
You missed the spot. Let me get that.
I was just thinking about that one time in high school when, probably not a good time. I'll come back later. It's like, are you serious?
Just pop out. Just forget this happened. All right.
We all get to the reunion. People are just talking like, yo, you had a problem with like Cam just popping into your life randomly? Like, even when you're behind locked doors? Like, yeah, actually, I have.
You feel like you're never safe from that guy? Yeah. But sometimes he brings me a coffee when he does it. So, I mean,
One time he showed up right outside of my driver's side door and just fell on the road as I drove away.
No, you definitely have to appear in the car somewhere. But like in the trunk. Like, hey, just all of a sudden you hear someone yelling from your... Hey, let me out of here. What are you doing? Why you got so many people in your car? I got nowhere to sit.
Oh, jeez.
Like, how did you get in my trunk? Man, that ain't the problem.
The problem is why haven't you called me in these last 5 years?
Don't you remember we talked in the hallway that one time in 11th grade? I worry.
What are you doing these days anyway? Oh, I work retail. I always knew you were going to do something great with your life. Catch you later. Poof.
I knew you was going places. Poof.
It'd be a different life for sure.
Make a YouTube series called "Popping into People's Lives." People wouldn't know how literal that was until they watched it.
I mean, you could probably make that show.
Just make sure you get the key to where they live, and then you just kind of show up anytime.
It's just creative editing. Just, make it look like you teleported in, even though you just cut the camera and.
Oh yeah, just make it a bit. Man, how many times I tell you I take a shower at 2 to 3? It's like, man, how many times I tell you an hour is too long to shower? Poof. It's 2:45. Get out of there. You look like a prune.
All the oil in your skin is gone. You know what that means? It means your body's got to work double time to get more oil in there. You're just going to be greasy tomorrow. No wonder you shower every day. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Hope you don't wash your hair all every day, too. What are you doing? You drying it out. You killing yourself.
Pop in. You doing that no poo method I told you about?
Yeah, like, pop in, man. I told you take your shampoo and just poof away. This for your own good. And pop in, be like, bro, check out this loofah I just got. You gotta use the. Get out of my shower, bro. No, but really, where's Mayo? It's almost been 20 minutes.
Oh no! This is the problem.
This is the problem.
We're gonna have to come up with a segment, a whole titled segment for when somebody ghosts on the podcast.
And welcome back to He's Gone.
No, seriously. Welcome everybody to Where Did Anthony Go? A podcast within a podcast.
This is where we just joke around and talk about random nonsense while our friend takes forever to do whatever he's doing.
Yeah, whatever he's doing, it's all good. Oof. Man, when he goes back to listen to this episode, though, and he sees that this is here.
You want to play a quick rank match there, Fonz?
I don't know if you think he'd be back by
No,
time.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that. We probably could get a quick match in, though, honestly. But I got my Audacity open on the screen. I'd have to use
Based on
for
the way
that.
this is going, I hope he comes back.
He sounded fine.
Yeah, his little name in Discord keeps popping back up, like as if something's making noise in his house.
Well, Cinder's there.
Yeah. If only there's a way we could activate the dog.
Activate the Doge.
Hold on. What? I don't know if he took his phone with him, but I'm gonna go ahead and text him because this is getting to that point.
Trepa, trepa, trepa. Trepa?
Is that a command that he taught his dog?
That's a command that the Swedish people that sold him his dog taught his dog, because it's Swedish for attack, I think.
Oh, geez.
It's when she's supposed to start barking and getting ferocious, so that would be the thing to set off Cinder. But I'm pretty sure we're coming through his headphones, so she wouldn't hear me anyways. Nor would she respond to my voice.
Gotcha.
But yeah, trepa.
Why would they teach the dog that at such a young age?
I don't know. It's also, people get dogs for defense.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, not solely, but that's like one of the bonuses.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like, I don't know when he got the dog, or, I'm guessing she was a rescue, but.
She knows how to sit, she knows how to shake, she knows how to kill. Like, so you're all set.
When you got her, was she trained? Yeah, she was trained in the dark arts. What? I mean,
she was trained in lethal weapons, pulls out a Twisted Tea tall boy. Oh, she could use this.
oh, Twisted Tea? Is that what you said?
Yeah. You know that video?
Yes, I know the video.
I was like, man, even I would be tempted to smack this dude in the face with a Twisted Tea can, and I don't, have urges like that.
Yeah. Remember he dropped the can, and then the dude went to, kick it, and he just whipped it right back up in his face. And then Twisted Tea became, the biggest trending thing that happened all year.
Yeah. People were making meme videos what's his name, Master Ken or something. It's like, this is Master Ken, coming back to you again. And he's like, I'm coming back to you with another lethal weapon. This time, we have a can of Twisted Tea. He did a whole thing, a whole segment about how you can use a can of Twisted Tea to fight somebody, treating it like an actual weapon. It was great.
It seemed like Twisted Tea became the hero of that story, which is very strange because that was just the product that was used.
Yeah.
People didn't really talk about the dude who actually hit the guy with the Twisted Tea. They just talked about Twisted Tea. It's the drink didn't get any better, guys. It wasn't.
You either already liked it or already didn't.
Oh, no. He hasn't responded to my text message, which now went out 3 minutes ago. So either he didn't take his phone with him, or he just doesn't care to respond to me right now.
'Cause I had the dump of my life.
No.
Yep.
We're going to be here so long that I'm going to have to take a break. It'll be history for the podcast.
A for no, B for yes lunch break. Sponsored by Mayo's Long Breaks.
Because let's recount what happened here. So Anthony says, while you are trying to figure out how to put a paragraph of text into the Discord chat, I am going to go to the bathroom real quick.
Shows his expectations.
He's back.
I'm back.
He's returned.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Listen, okay. Don't come talk to me until you've had from Mr. Margarita on your burrito.
You eat Chipotle and wash it down with Taco Bell.
No, Heat of the Aztec sauce from Mr. Margarita in my burrito.
You get that's a pun, right?
In your burrito.
Like you caught the joke of that one, right? Like you get it.
No, I caught the joke. I'm just stating what I actually had.
My dude, you ghosted us for like half an hour.
Chipotle is nothing.
It was like 25 minutes.
Cam and I did another podcast while you were gone.
Oh, nice. Did you get episode 14 done?
No, we talked about you.
Halfway through 2.
Okay, let's go.
All right. I guess we'll just pivot on a dime then.
So we were actually talking about Gorko.
Oh yeah,
we didn't get into Gorko yet.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Gorko, weren't we? I forgot.
So we saved Gorko from these 3 red bokoblins, and he he thanks us for saving him, but then he kind of goes into like what he's been doing. He's been trying to research Skyloft and the artifacts around here. He points out the bird statues and how like this one here activates the rest of them. Which is, convenient, but he's like, he doesn't really understand what they do just yet. All he knows is that this one that he's at is like the main hub one that like, once this one gets activated, the rest will. So you do that, you get it going. The same bird statues that are up on Skyloft. The ones that you can like, save your game at and pray to and all that. Yeah, he freaks out. And then he kind of goes into this bit about like how he's the researcher, like he's researching artifacts about the goddess and stuff like that, and even goes into Skyloft, which makes sense because Skyloft is quite literally a result of the history of the goddess. So, yeah, we have this line here, and it is fantastic.
Oh yeah, so as he starts, he lets you know how much he loves Skyloft. And he starts telling you some stuff he knows about it, and I'm just going to read through it and let you know my opinion as I go. So get this. People actually live on the Sky Island, and they get around by flying on the backs of huge birds that are way bigger than birds down here. That's right. He knows this very well. Up there, everyone reveres the goddess, and the residents of all the islands in the sky live in a perfect society totally free of conflict or unhappiness. Well, I don't know about 100% free of unhappiness, but they don't really seem to be fighting each other or having too many problems. So I guess I would also agree with that.
I can think of one big situation with a Loftwing that just happened recently, being kidnapped. But other than that, like everybody's an NPC, like nobody really conflicts that much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
everyone but Groose.
Well, yeah, Groose is sad right now. That's okay.
That's
anyway,
fine.
Totally free of conflict or happiness. Close enough.
Yeah, right. And not only that, but from what I can tell, their civilization is way, way more advanced than ours down here. And I don't really know what ours down here even refers to, because I haven't seen it yet.
Right, we haven't seen the civilization yet. Willing to bet it's not way, way more advanced.
I mean, Beetle has a flying contraption, and the goddess statue has, like, a magical opening door.
Beetle is on a different level from, like, almost everyone else in the game.
It's true.
He is way, way more advanced than Skyloft. Like, I don't know where Beetle got that from, but he's,
Beetle's the boss.
He's just straight up got, like, a computer. Yeah, it's whatever.
He's using goddess technology.
And then he goes on like an infomercial. But it doesn't even stop there. There's even more to marvel at.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. This place was crafted by the goddess herself, so it figures that it is filled with wonders we do not have here. Alright, like what?
Like Remlets, right?
Yeah, like Remlets. The buildings are all made of gold. Whoa.
Oh!
Hold on there, buddy.
El Dorado.
I was just about to say, is this Skyloft or El Dorado? So, okay, we have a little bit, and maybe he's just heard some misinformation somewhere. Let's keep going. The rest is probably right? An endless spring of mystical water feeds a river through the place. One sip of that stuff and you live forever.
The Fountain of Youth!
In the middle of El Dorado in the sky! Of course. Why didn't we guess it earlier? The trees have plump fruit that cures all diseases. The fields are crowded with pumpkins that never rot. Magic wildflowers bloom everywhere.
The Garden of Eden.
It's everything up there. It's everything you could want and more. The grass is greener on that side, confirmed.
Oh my goodness.
It's never too hot. It's never too cold. There's no chance of sweaty heat in this garden paradise. So he knows a little bit about it, but he's also got some fantastical imagination going on too.
Yeah.
But he's very excited, and I liked reading what he was saying.
Yeah, I love how excited he gets about this stuff. It's just this hilarious description. Like, you almost want to be like, no, it's not really like that, but at the same time, you're kind of like, I'm just gonna let you kind of believe that. Like, it's a pretty magical world you live in, Gorko. I don't want to ruin that for you. Oh man, so we don't pop his bubble there. We just kind of keep it moving. I don't remember what the rest of the dialogue is, but basically he's going to continue doing research and let you know when he knows more. Because right now that's pretty much all the information he has. So you kind of go on your way, and we make our way to the actual Faron Woods.
Before we get there.
Before we get there, what happens before we get there?
Well, we save yet another creature.
Oh, is this Machi?
It is.
Machu Picchu?
Because he's actually before you get to like the main entrance of the woods.
Oh, okay. He kind of leads you into the woods, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's this is the second creature that's being bombarded by red bokoblins, although unlike our pale Gorko, he's actually hiding and scared and terrified. And so you kill them, and he gets up and then looks up at you and then goes, and then runs away again because he thinks that you're part of the red bokoblin gang.
Adorable.
And you're scary.
Yeah.
And then you have to find him and chase him.
Yeah. So Machi, we learn, is a member of a race called the Kikwi. They kind of look like some kind of small mammal, like maybe like a mole or something. They have like weird pointy noses that are reminiscent of beaks, but not quite. And then they have more notably like just a big puff of like greenery. Like they basically have plants growing out of their backs. And I think the plants vary a little bit, but mostly they look like tall grass that you might plant like in a flower garden, like one of those, just balls of big leaves.
Bulbasaur.
Yeah, right? Kind of like that. So they're like a mix between plant and animal. And we've never seen these in a Zelda game before. Like these are like a new for Skyward Sword creature. Yeah.
I think the inspiration of them I read somewhere was a Tanuki.
Okay.
That was like the inspiration of those characters was a Tanuki. I went on like a creative art director like Sprawl and like like found like in the interview with him like all these like things he was talking about, but like yeah, it was a Tanuki basically was like the inspiration of it.
And then they Zelda-ized it.
Yeah, we have to find him, and he kind of runs into this big forested jungle, which is our first entrance into Faron Woods, which can get a bit confusing at first until you get used to it. There are a lot of places to go and a lot of ways to do. And one of the most notable features I wanted to bring up before we even talk about finding Kikwi and getting him is one of the first things you'll notice when you get to Faron Woods is giant mushrooms everywhere. As far as the eye can see, giant mushrooms. And one of them is glowing. And if you walk up to said glistening mushroom and smack it with your goddess sword, you will unleash a spore that if you have an empty bottle and you didn't take a red potion before you came down here, like a smart person, you can catch this glistening powder in your bottle, and it becomes a pretty great item against enemies or just having fun and messing around. There's so many uses that this glistening powder has.
Really?
I don't know if you guys ever used it or even knew that was there.
No, I don't think I've ever gotten it.
Nah.
I don't remember it at all. What does it actually do?
So one of the uses of it is if you dump it on bugs, which I think this is the most useless feature out of all of them, it'll actually slow the bugs. But if you get close to the bugs anyway to just catch them, why would you need to slow them is my first thought. But you can do it. It's kind of like a fun factor. Doesn't really have any use for it.
Catching is hard.
It's so hard. Just kidding. It's sarcasm. So the next thing is you dump it on an enemy or near an enemy, such as a Dekubaba or Octorok or Bokoblin or anything really, and it stuns them for as long as you need until you hit them again. But once you stun them, you can just go straight into your Goddess Tornado combo and kill them.
Okay.
The NATO.
But I think there is a time limit. Of course, you need to know the power of the Goddess Tornado. And I think the last... Oh, no, you can dump it on a Gossip Stone and it will actually disappear completely. Just gone from the world. But then like a rising phoenix out of the ashes, a new one will be born and just come back up out of the ground. But it will actually poof away and then another one will come back in that same spot.
Weird.
Are you talking about the the Moonlight Merchant?
Yeah, I mean I called it a Gossip Stone, but the Moonlight Merchant.
Oh, okay. I was like, there are other Gossip Stones? What?
Oh, I don't know if there is, but I know if you pour it on him, then he'll disappear, and then like a phoenix, he'll come back. And then the last thing is if you dump them on... Actually, no, there's 2 more things. Wow, yeah, there's a lot of uses with this glistening powder, and you get 5 uses from 1 bottle.
Oh, that changes the game.
Yeah, it's not just 1. You get 5 uses, so it becomes a I can't say that word. It becomes a regular item to use in your adventures. Okay. If you pour it on a rupee, it's like a gambling game. You may get 5, you may get a red rupee, or you'll get a Rupor, which I think was made famous in Wind Waker, but it's a purplish black rupee that actually gives you -10 rupees. Oh. So it's kind of like a gambling game.
Wow.
And then the last thing is if you pour it on a heart, there is I don't know the percentage, but there's a slight chance you can turn it into a fairy. Or maybe it's a 100% chance. I don't know. But if you pour it on a heart, you may get a fairy.
That sounds like the magic powder from like A Link to the Past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those, I think you would turn bubbles into fairies or something like that, but still.
But what's really happening is that he pours out the powder, smells it, and then starts having psychological effects, and he just thinks things are changing. No, I'm just kidding. It's the spores.
It's the spores.
Actually found that out this time through, and I didn't know it the first time.
So after we convince Machi that we're not evil, we kind of go through that we're looking for a friend, the spirit maiden, a friend, the other person like us who's come through that everyone keeps mentioning. And he kind of says like, oh, I don't know, but maybe you can talk to, our leader or whatever. He's really hard to find. So good luck. So, real hard to find. This is Big Bucha. So this dude is huge. Yeah. Every one of the, Kikwis is named after a form of tea. So Bucha would definitely be kombucha, which, I like kombucha. So that, I was very pleased to see kombucha here.
It's not bad.
Kombucha.
I'll drink it, but I don't really go out of my way to buy it.
I like how vinegary and carbonated it is from the fermentation. It's good. I
do like me some matcha tea though. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, matcha for Machi. We find ulo, which is like oolong tea. I think the other one is lapsa or lapso.
Yeah.
Which is I guess based off of this tea called Lapsang Souchong.
Oh my, is it really?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I drink that regularly.
Do you?
Yeah, it's smoked Chinese black tea.
Oh,
It smells
good.
and tastes like a wood-burning fire, and it is amazing.
Wow.
I straight up have that tea, and I drink it like 2 or 3 times a week. It's one of my favorite teas.
Nice.
I did not.
I have
know
to try
at
that.
all.
Lopsong, what?
Yeah. I didn't. I call it lapsang, but it probably is lopsong. Lopsong souchong.
Lopsang, Souchong. Okay.
LAPSANG SOUCHONG.
Yeah.
I'll have to buy that then.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I gotta try it now because I saw that and I was like all these other teas I could pretty much figure out what they were looking at them. That was the only one I had to like actually look up to figure out what it was.
When you said his name, I was like, wow, that sounds a lot like that tea I drink. And then you said the exact name of the tea I drink. I'm like, wait, no.
All right, learn something new every day. And the last one we meet in this sequence is Erla. Well, yeah, Erla, which is like Earl Grey, you know.
My man, Earl Grey.
Their classic tea. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you go through you know, because when you first meet Bucha, he's like, you know, like I do remember, you know, your friend coming through here, but you know, all this concern I have for all of my missing forest spirits, you know, it's got my memory a little hazy. So if you can find them for me, like I might be able to focus and figure out what's going on. So you basically just wander the forest and play hide and seek with these guys.
Using your sword to find him.
Yeah, using your dowsing ability.
So cool. Best ability in the game.
10 out of 10 would recommend use dowsing. Would douse again.
Don't look at IGN though. Too much water. 7 out of 10 on there.
Really makes you feel like you're looking for something.
Wow. So yeah, we get everybody back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she went this way." Basically, I don't remember what he says, but basically, he sends you on to the next part of the mission, and he actually gives you the slingshot. Because you know, while you're looking for these Kikwis, you probably actually already came across the temple that we're going to be going to.
Yeah,
it is Skyview Temple, and I'm sure that something about what Bucha shares with you points you in the direction of Skyview Temple.
I mean, yeah, basically all it is, you know that giant conspicuous building that doesn't blend in with anything? Yeah, she's in there.
Actually, that's just the entrance to the actual deeper part of the woods.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's the deep woods.
The temple is even farther. That's just a first temple that's there for no reason whatsoever to look cool, honestly.
All right,
but it is still big and conspicuous in the area.
So does Bucha tell you to go to Skyview, or does he tell you just go to the deep woods?
I don't know. I just know that that's the first temple. It's not a temple. It's just like you walk through it. You gotta like use the Skyward Strike on something, and then the door opens. You go through it. You get farther into the woods, basically.
Yeah, there's like
I thought it was a temple at first.
Ferrara symbol on that door, or like on the ground nearby. So like it very much signals like, oh, you're heading to the forest temple. Like it's it's very just goes back. Goddess of courage in this area is a big deal. But yeah, we go into the deep woods, the dark woods, and we find more enemies to fight. One of the things that's hilarious about this is that there's like tight ropes to walk across, and at least on
there's
one of them,
Muse on it.
If you start walking across, like there's a Bacabla on the other side that starts walking across, and you can just back up and shoot him with a slingshot, and he'll fall off the tightrope.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot this area was even there.
Yeah,
it's just like a short little walkthrough area.
Yeah, we meet Gorko.
You got some Octoroks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
those two.
No, we do see Gorko, and he's kind of standing by a goddess cube, right? We learned about goddess cubes.
Yeah. So basically, the way a goddess cube works, I mean, he pretty much gives you the hint that he's like, "Can you come over here? Help me figure this out. We'll figure it out together." And basically, the phrasing that he gives you makes it pretty obvious that you're supposed to skyward strike these things. So you do, and it shoots a beam back up into the sky, and we'll figure out what that actually does next time we go into the sky. Because we're not going to do that until after what we cover in this podcast. But basically, you're just setting up some benefits for later. At this point, so Gorko's, it blows his mind, but he doesn't really know what to make of it overall.
You're just constantly blowing this dude's mind,
right? He's having the most exciting research day he's ever had.
Yeah, in his whole career.
Every little thing you do, he's like,
my whole life has been a lie. So yeah, we finally make our way over to the Skyview Temple. And we have to do like a little puzzle to get a boss key. Or not a boss key, but isn't there like a temple key just to get in? Or
you got to do a puzzle.
You got to read a tablet thing that tells you to shoot a strike at the bird that's facing up or something. And then it's on the door, so you just have to shoot the door with a skyward strike or something. Or no, you have to shoot the crystal that the bird is pointing at. The bird's on the door, the crystal's above the door.
Yeah, I was skipping ahead on accident. Yeah. I actually walked up to that door, shot the gem on the bird's face, and it gave me a rupee. And then I shot the bird on its tail, and it gave me another rupee. And I was like, oh. So then I shot every gem on the door, and like none of the other ones gave me rupees. So then I was like, there's got to be a trick to this, right? So then I walked over and read the tablet, and it was like, the crystal that the bird flies towards, like, shoot that. I'm like, what? And I go back, and I look above the bird, and there's just a pink obelisk floating. And I'm like, oh, I should have just looked up more. I was like, well, there's got to be a trick here. I'm just not seeing it.
Like, basically, if they had a bullseye and a sign that says shoot here is the only way it could be more obvious that that's, like, something that you need to be paying attention to. But I also didn't look up.
Yeah, they put it just out of camera view. Like, you walk up and, like, the camera, like, cuts off right above the door. So you wouldn't see it unless you intentionally looked up.
Smart.
Which I guess, it's called Skyview. So, I mean... Yeah, why wouldn't you look at the sky? But yeah, that's gonna happen a couple times. Yeah.
Now we're in the temple.
So we're in the temple, and immediately before we do anything, everybody stop. Okay?
Whoa.
Right in front of us, there's a picture of an eyeball with a big old swirly swirl, right?
Yep.
That's a clue for later. But it's
I didn't see
now, that. And there's a bunch of them all over the place. Just a bunch of eyeballs with swirls. Every time there's a puzzle that involves this clue, there's more in the room with it. So you never really have to forget. But also, if you look up at the ceiling, did either of you guys look up at the ceiling when you got inside?
Oh.
There is a line of... it's artwork on the ceiling. It's a big string of birds. And they look to be either geese or swans, maybe, because they're flying in a big line. They pretty much line the whole hallway. And they kind of head forward down the hallway the way that you'd be going. You might be able to argue that they look like turkeys because they got like a lot of feathers behind them, but I'm pretty sure because they're flying in a big line formation that they're supposed to be either swans or geese. I think this temple has a lot of that.
They're lawflings.
It is the Skyview Temple.
Skyview Temple. Yeah, there's not. I mean,
so there's going to be fish everywhere.
Murals on the sky, on the ceiling everywhere. But here, I was like my first thought was like, oh my goodness. Like Groose's ancestors were from here, and I just like, no, that's not. That's not a thing. I don't think
they used to tend to the temple grounds.
But I do think that these are some kind of migratory bird, which is kind of a hint at what this temple might have been.
Well,
built for or around.
There were guays outside, which we kind of skipped over. They're kind of migratory and stick in packs and group together and try to fight you.
Are they migratory?
I mean, they're basically based off of like seabirds.
Oh, okay. I've never seen a guay or guai or however you say it. I've never seen them fly in a line formation or a V formation or anything like that. I looked it up, and swans also fly in V formations, believe it or not.
Oh, do they? I've never seen a swan fly living at the lake by me here because they never fly.
Yeah, I've never seen a flock of swans. Like that's never been a thing that I've seen.
No, I don't think they really like to fly.
It might depend on the species of swan.
True. Yeah, we get into the temple, and
we go down some stairs.
Yeah, there's some stairs, and then you kind of get to the bottom of the stairs, and then you kind of go through that door, and then you know what's on the other side of that door?
An eyeball.
Bunch of eyeballs.
Monster of the week.
It's called the Eye Guardian.
The Eye Guardian is the monster.
That's your monster of the week? Oh, okay.
That's the enemy of the week, yeah. Because I didn't make the connection with the eyeball swirly on the walls anywhere that I still didn't notice.
Yeah, in this same room with this one, I think there's actually a like one of those eyeball swirly patterns is on the, like there's like a bunch of them on the wall, but one of them has an amber relic stuffed in the pupil, and you have to like roll into the wall to knock it out to get it.
Oh, I didn't do that.
So the game really tried to point it out.
Like,
oblivious
hey,
me
there's
did not pick up on these subtle cues, and so I spent about 5 to 10 minutes figuring out what to do.
To be fair,
it was.
Go ahead.
Hold on one sec, Fonz. It was the last thing I did when I was just messing around and literally just twirling it for no reason, not even thinking that would ever do anything, that I solved it. It was just some mindless action I started doing while thinking about what the next thing I should try to get it to open without looking it up, because I didn't want to look it up, because I'm like, this is the first room of the first temple in this game, and I refuse to look up how to get past this eyeball.
Yeah.
And in that frustrating thought, I was twirling my thing, and the eyeball went, and I won.
Nice.
And I kind of face palmed.
I was gonna say, in your defense, like this was easier for Anthony and I, because like we already did it years ago.
Yeah.
But also like back when they were advertising this game and the motion controls, like that was one of the examples they gave, was this eyeball puzzle and how you swirl your sword around to make it dizzy. And it was check out the Wii Motion Plus controls that we integrated into this game. Like here's one of the puzzles, and it was like so basically it was part of the ad campaign.
I just did not expect that to be the solution.
Yeah. So I can't say that when I actually played this game originally, I ever noticed the eyeballs on the walls, like the decorative ones, because I just knew what to do with those things from the get. So, yeah, it was a little bit
spoiler
silly. Yeah, they spoiled it in the ad campaign.
So most of this dungeon is pretty gorgeous. Once we get to the main hub room, which I think is actually just right beyond that room, we get to like this main hub room. The temple itself, I think, is one of my favorite temples in this game, just based solely on the way it looks. I mean, we've only played one, but I just like the way that this temple looks, and it's kind of simple. I mean, there's simple enemies. Puzzles weren't too hard. There was some backtracking in the temple, but all in all, I liked it.
Yeah, and there's even a heart piece hidden away with an interesting thing to do to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to figure that out? Because I wasn't. I saw it and I was like, I might have to come back with a different item that I don't have yet. So then I just left it there.
Yeah, you got to shoot your golden bug thingy all the way to the top of the tower. The top of the little tower thing in the middle of that room where you got the bug. There's like there's a little cubby up at the top of it, and the crystal is in there.
Oh.
You can't see it from any angle. You just have to explore up there to find it. And that's how you open the door to get the heart piece.
Is it like in the bright light?
It's at the very top. It's
the tippity top.
Yeah, I mean the room where you get the bug.
In the room where it happened.
Yeah, like is it actually the room with the treasure
giant
chest
cistern
for the bugs,
thing?
or is it you go outside the big cistern thing and then send the bug up to the like face of it?
Yeah, it's whatever that little structure is that the heart piece is in. You can stand right in front of it looking at the heart piece and shoot the bug straight up. And at the very top of whatever that is like a little cubby.
I mean...
And you go in there and you get the crystal.
Yeah, okay, so I didn't get that. I have to go back now and get that. But what I will say is that thing that we keep referring to, if you take a step back and look at it, it has wings. And it's like... You know, it's doing the sky view move where it's looking at the sky, but I'm pretty sure it's not a goose, it's not a swan. I think it's a cuckoo. Like, I think it's supposed to be a big bronze representation of a chicken.
Chicken.
Straight up just staring at the sky. Like, everything's heading towards the sky. Which just kind of pointed out that of all the birds that we have in this game, like there's little birds on the surface, there's guys that attacked us, there's like, you know, loftwings up in Skyloft, but there aren't cuckoos in this game. Not that we've
As
seen
of
yet. Yeah.
No, they must have got cuckooed by the rest of the birds.
So that, I mean, where's my chicken attack? Like, how am I supposed to get attacked by a flock of chickens? No,
Coming.
I think I have a feeling like maybe the remlets were supposed to be the cuckoo replacement, but maybe there is a scene where we get attacked by a bunch of chickens, and I just don't remember.
There probably is somewhere. Yeah, that room, the mini boss of the dungeon, if you could call it a mini boss, is our good old friend, the lost child, Stelphos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's how we get the beetle.
It was a fun fight.
Yeah.
Twas.
I used Goddess Tornado.
Of course you did. I wouldn't expect anything different.
Well, I was trying to, you know, fight him normally, but you know, he was just too good, so I had to use my ultimate jutsu. You know?
Well, Stelphos, you have fought valiantly, but it is time for me to unleash my ultimate technique.
Yes.
Goddess
Tornado!
We also, as we try to leave this room, I mean, there's a lot of goodies in this room, so definitely stay in this room and use the beetle to literally get all. You will become rich in this room if you're good enough with the beetle. I'm pretty sure I've got over 150 rupees in this room. There's like at least 10 red rupees.
Yeah, I smashed everything in the room looking for something to activate the heart piece door. Not knowing I was in the middle of the room. So
yeah, right at the top.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I have to kill every enemy, and I did. I killed everything in the room. Nothing happened with the heart piece door. Well, I was like, this is bad.
I remember somewhere in that dungeon or somewhere in the game period, somebody said that crystals to open the doors are always close to the door that it opens. And that's why when I saw that, the first thing I did was try to look for a place that a crystal could be hiding. And up there wasn't the first place I checked. I honestly thought, I think straight behind you is a door that has like two little vents next to it. And I thought it would be up in one of those. But I think all that's up there is like maybe some amber relics and some rupees.
Yeah.
And after that, that's when I flew up and checked the top of the thing. And I was like, oh, there it is.
Gotcha. Nice. I remember
I was just flying around.
Like, we don't have the item for this yet, but I came across some stuff in the temple that you can't do yet. Like, there's a little, like, mark on the ground that there's an item later in the game that is used for. So that's why I kind of thought, oh, maybe I just have to come back and do this later.
Makes sense.
Because I was...
And Zelda is notorious for that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just kind of kept it moving after that. There's another, like, I don't think you can count it as a mini boss, but like, there's this creature that I can't, like, I mean, everybody comes across it when you play this, but it's like a Hydra thing in the next room. Okay.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah.
3-headed skull scorpion thing. I mean, you saw it. It died so easy. It wasn't even worth.
I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure the trick to it was supposed to be like, if you didn't hit all 3 of its heads, they would grow back and you just keep fighting until you did. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to line it up. But, like, I just naturally lined it up the first time I went to fight it. So it was just, like, one hit and it was
knocked
gone.
his block off. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, was that it? Are you serious? Like, because it looks so cool. like just as far in terms of enemy design, like this thing looks intimidating. It's got like really cool like design elements. The color scheme just is kind of daunting, like with the red eyes and like the gray skin and the skulls on its face. Like you're like, whoa, like this thing looks cool. You get up to it, hit it once, and it's just gone. It's got green eyes.
Yeah.
The green eyes.
The green eyes.
Green eyes.
And the walls oozed green eyes.
There's actually a few enemies that we passed by. We passed a Quadro Baba is what their name is, which is the golden Deku Baba we talked about earlier.
Okay.
The Quad Bob.
Quad Bob.
Quad Bob.
And then there's Green Bokoblins, which is the third iteration of... Oh, yeah, Bokoblin leaders. There's Bokoblin leaders.
Those are the horns and
With the horn.
And
then the green Bokoblin. I don't really know what green Bokoblin's difference is for red Bokoblins. I don't think there is one, so they're just kind of lame. You knock them off into the water in that one room earlier on in the temple. And then our favorite friends are back, the Waltulas and Skulltulas that don't look as menacing as in Ocarina of Time.
Dude, I think they look more terrifying. What are you guys
Really?
talking about?
The Waltulas, I think, look less terrifying. I think that the Skulltulas on the webs are like really frustrating to fight, and especially the ones that hang from the ceiling.
They're also like creepy looking. Like that's a whole actual like we're not trying to play illusion here. That's a spider.
Yeah,
that's a massive spider, not a cartoony looking skull face thing that you have to look at sideways to even see it as a spider. That's just a massive spider with a giant abdomen.
And it's got, I love the like giant eyes it has. And then if you paid attention to like super close, it has a smiley face on his abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just looks like it kind of looks like a happy choo-choo, but then you look at its actual face and there's like 8 eyes with pinchers ready to kill you.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dia de los Muertos, right? Like it's like a sugar skull.
Yeah.
Oh,
happy, and then you actually see what underneath, and it's like, oh.
You're like, aw, and it turns around, you're like, ah!
Yeah, it's rough. But, I mean...
Yeah, then that's really it.
It took me a while to figure out how to kill the ones that were crawling on the ground, though. They're actually going after you. You have to swipe up from under them. I was fighting one for probably like a minute and a half before I figured that one out.
Oh,
wait, there's one on the ground?
Yeah, if you knock them out of their web and they start crawling at you on the ground, nothing you do will affect them unless you swipe up. And then you'll knock them up, and then you can do that jump slash and kill them in one hit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could knock them off.
Yeah, you can get them out of the web. One way to do this is with the bug. You can cut their web until they fall. If they're one of the ones that just hangs from the single strand, you can just cut that and they'll fall. A good way to do it is to be standing nearby the spider when you do it, because when they fall, they'll fall on their back immediately, and you can just do the death strike right there. But if you're farther away, they'll eventually flip over. Or if you cut them out of like the big web, there's a good chance that they might fall over, but they're going to have more time to like, I think they flip over a little faster because they're not quite as disoriented.
And it turns into a totally different fight from that point. Like they have a ranged attack where they shoot webs at you. You get hit, you can't move or block, and they start like moving slowly at you. It's kind of menacing.
I never knew that was a thing. I've always killed them on the web. I never knew there was a whole second part.
Yeah, I got frustrated fighting them on the string web because they would pendulum swing, and then I would try to stab, and Link would just keep missing with his stab. Like he wouldn't hit the pink part.
You want to know why that was happening?
Because I was supposed to shoot him with a thing.
No, it's because you were stabbing and you weren't using Goddess Tornado.
Goddess Tornado just makes it swing more.
Yeah, but you're not gonna miss though.
But what's the point of hitting if I'm just gonna make him swing more?
I mean,
no. You turn them so so the spider swings around, so you have access to hit the abdomen, and then while it's there, you just Goddess Tornado so that they can't spin and they die. This
is basic rock paper scissors things. Tornado beats spider. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So we get through the main cistern circle looking place past all these ceiling babas, and we get to this giant chasm of a temple room.
Okay.
If you guys remember that part.
The part with the boss key door?
Yeah, and it's like a giant chasm you have to cross and then find all the little puzzle pieces, which was annoying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of vine swinging and stuff like that we had to do.
The actual puzzles for the door, I hate this door. I've done it twice already, and I can tell you, I almost hate it as much as dousing.
Why? You just line it up in the thing. I
love puzzle. Bro, you don't just line it up, okay? I've lined it up, and you have to be... I was like complaining to Cameron when I was doing it because I was like, it's not. It's just not.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah, no, I don't like that either.
You just rotate the piece until it fits.
Bro,
the thing.
You do not.
It's a pain in the poopa.
That's exactly what you...
I'd rather douse. I would rather douse. Actually.
At least this one didn't give me any troubles. It was like...
All right, well, wait till you get to the door.
I needed to make a little llama shape, and I made a little llama shape, and it went right in, and I was like, oh... Yeah.
Wait till you make the door for the next temple, and you're not going to like it.
This door has swans on it.
Oh, does it?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Majestic.
Just saying.
Goose's ancestors.
They're doing like the love boat thing, but like split up still.
Stunning and brave.
Groose's ancestors. It's fantastic. Because you know what we find when we go into it?
Don't.
What?
Can we skip this part?
Why?
Yeah, this is the end of the temple. I think we go in and our heart container's waiting.
Yeah. The boss was Stelphos or Steldra. That was the boss. Steldra.
The boss was putting that key in the door. I mean,
it was just a llama key, and I loved it.
And I loved it. I love my llama.
Why are you hating on the llama key?
Because I had to rotate that thing so many times. And the rotating is awkward, and I had to press the Y button like 3 times to reset it, and didn't like it.
All right.
0 out of 10, wouldn't recommend.
Okay, what is this? What is this upload that you've put into the Discord? Oh, okay.
That's why we don't want to talk about it.
He's just, he's part snake, maybe.
He's part Orochimaru elf is what he is.
He's absolutely an Orochimaru elf. I actually put in his dialogue here.
Oh, great.
In hopes that someone
Wait, whose dialogue? The heart container's dialogue?
We run into a man.
We run into, yes.
A white man with purple eyeliner.
Girahim. He appears to be
really creepy.
Well, yeah, but he's like, he kind of reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland, like, checkerboard, knights or whatever. Like, he's kind of got like the weird, like yellow and purple checker pattern. And then when he takes off his cloak, it's like, I think it's just black and white or something like that, but same deal.
He has a white outfit on.
He likes his checkers. Like, he very much likes the checker pattern clothing.
He's got like yellow diamonds going down his clothing or something.
This dude fell right out of an anime. Like, he somebody dropped their manga and he rolled out.
Someone had conceptual manga art in Japan and somehow Nintendo got a hold of it.
Yes. That should be the official story for the creation of this character.
Yeah. Because he for sure has an anime, I want to say, storyline. Because, fun fact, guys, every boss up till now with Ocarina of Time, we've killed them. They are dead. They have died. We beat them. We got a heart container. Spoiler alert. This guy, he tells you straight up, I'm going to be back. But he says, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back. He coming back.
Yeah, and you still get a heart container though. It's funny when you walk in here. Girahim is trying to cut through the next door with his sword, and And when he goes to do this, because you don't actually see it, the first time he tries, it's off screen. So Link walks into the room, you just hear a big like clash of metal and a big like bright light flashes and like almost like blinds Link. It's just so bright.
Wait, he trying to cut through a door with his tiny little sword?
With the force of the sun, part. Yeah.
No.
Like you walk in, there's literally like a huge flashlight that fills the whole room, and Link's like, ugh, and then like looks forward and you see Ghirahim with a sword hitting the door, like to get into the next area. Like, cause like according to our dowsing ability, and I guess he can do it too. She's through there, like she's through this door. So he's trying to get to Zelda. But yeah, he has this whole dialogue here. Does anybody feel like they have a good Orochimaru impression they want to try to read this line with?
You got this game.
Doesn't have to be the real
where
Orochimaru.
Is it?
It's up above my it's up above the line for Gorko. It's huge. You only have to read to what? I don't know. There's a part about drawing your sword and stuff, but no, I'll beat you within an inch of your life. Like, so the last two paragraphs there aren't anything, but that's how he ends the fight. But it is a lot.
Comes in, he goes,
"Look who it is. I thought that tornado I stirred up would have tossed and torn you apart, yet here you are. Not in pieces. Not your life or death, or not that your life or death has any consequences. It's just the girl that matters now, and I can sense her here, just beyond this door. Yes, we plucked her majesty from her perch in the clouds, and now she's ours. Oh, but listen to me, I'm being positively uncivil. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the demon lord who presides over this land you look down upon, this world you call the surface. You may call me Ghirahim. In truth, I very much prefer to be indulged with my full title, Lord Ghirahim. But I'm not fussy. Did you really just draw your sword, foolish boy? By all rights, the girl should have fallen into our hands already. She was nearly ours when that loathsome servant of the goddess snatched her away. Do you have any idea how that made me feel inside? Furious, outraged, sick with anger, this turn of events has left me with a strong appetite for bloodshed. Still, it hardly seems fair being my position to take all of my anger out on you, which is why I promise up front not to murder you. I'll just beat you within an inch of your life."
Was that like the Japanese Orochimaru?
I've no idea.
That was not Orochimaru. That was just Ghirahim. That was Ghirahim's voice actor.
I just went with it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Whenever I like remember hearing Ghirahim, like I when I was doing the stream or whatever, I did my own voice acting bit here, but it was like he's very much like hey and like he does like a lot of
he seems prissy.
Yeah, he's not as gruff, but I did appreciate your voice work there. Like, it was good. I just, like, I was so confused. I'm like, I don't remember Orochimaru sounding like that. But
he sounded like that.
Yeah, it's very snake-like, right? Yeah, because, like, even with, like, the pieces of, like, you know, what was like, oh, gosh, where is it? Where he actually introduced us like, oh, but listen to me, I'm being positively uncivil, you know, like, allow me to introduce myself, you know, like, he's very much like, yeah, weirdly proper, but at the same time, not, like, he comes across as, like,
he's a creep.
Like, rude nobility, but yeah, absolutely a creep.
Yeah, like, he's...
Tastes the air like a snake right next to your ear, which is, like,
yeah. You allow me to introduce myself, and he just teleports behind Link with his tongue out, like kiss. Oh, so gross. And this is the first fight in any Zelda game, really, aside from when Ganondorf showed himself in Ocarina of Time, that this guy is just toying with you. I mean, he's got two fingers up, like he is some expert level Naruto Jonin, and you're just a tiny little Genin who, when you strike your sword, he just catches your sword with two little fingers and then chucks you away. Like, this is the first fight where you're like, dang, I suck.
Disclaimer, you have to have watched Naruto to understand half this episode.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some context clues I'm sure people can follow even if they haven't watched Naruto.
Pretty sure most of the population who would like Legend of Zelda has seen Naruto, but that's just anyway.
Categorizing.
You can shield stun him. I will say that is a tactic that not many people know. If you do take your shield into here when he charges you with that weird supercharge thing that is really hard to dodge, you can shield bash him.
That was my favorite way to fight this guy, was to let him do that and just straight up parry it and then just,
because otherwise if you don't, that fight is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, he summons like lines of shurikens and throws them at you, and like you have to slash in the same direction to kind of like reflect them back at him.
Oh, I just dodged them.
You can just dodge them. If you reflect them back, it doesn't even do anything anyway. Like I don't think he actually takes any damage from it.
No, he just blocks them, I think.
Yeah.
You think me to be hurt by my own attack? What am I, Ganondorf?
Or Frieza?
This isn't a volley. Who are you kidding? But yeah, he'll teleport to right behind you and then present a sword formation that you can try to make it so that you cut the right way and you can get hits off that way, or you can just kind of walk away from him and wait for him to do this charge.
I want to add a disclaimer in here.
Did a few times
for anyone who is following me thus far on my jutsu learning. Don't do Goddess Tornado on this guy. He's too powerful for that jutsu.
He's too powerful.
It will not work. There is very few enemies that can take the power. He's one of them.
Few enemies can survive.
Yes, and he is one of them.
Pure, unadulterated amazingness of the Goddess Tornado.
Just don't do it on him. He will Shrek your entire existence.
Yeah.
This fight was a pain in the butt.
It's the first hard fight in the game.
Yes. I did not struggle with it this playthrough nearly as much as I did the first time I fought Girahim.
He didn't beat me, but I still don't really know how I beat him. I just kept swinging, and sometimes he let me hit him, and other times he didn't let me hit him, and I couldn't tell by where his fingers were where I should strike, so I just randomly swung until he died.
Yeah, when he does,
or until he ran away.
When he puts up his swords, it's a lot more obvious like where you can and can't hit him. But when he puts up a hand, the strategy is actually to put your sword up in one direction because he'll move his hand over to like catch it. And then just move your sword over to the other side of him, and he'll just leave his hand where he originally put it, and then you can get your hit in. Yeah, it's silly. The game doesn't really telegraph that or tell you that. So a lot of times you just go for the swing, and he just catches your sword, and you're like, oh, well, that was my whole plan. So,
but instead you got to be like, hey, look over here. Oh nope, gotcha. Hey,
the eyeball. Over here. The eye door guardians train you well for this fight.
Yeah.
If you just spin in circles, eventually his arm will fall off.
And you will win.
You will win. He will not appear for the rest of the game, and you have actually won at this fight.
Yeah.
Game over.
So after you beat him, right? In a sense. He kind of goes through this. He goes, well, you put up more of a fight than I would have thought possible out of such a soft boy. But don't clap for yourself quite yet. That sword of yours is the only reason you still live. I fear I spent far too long teasing and toying with you. The girl's presence has all but faded from this place, which means there's no reason to linger here. Goodbye, Sky Child. Run and play this time. Get in my way again, though, and you're dead. Right? Like, so he's picked up an attitude. Kind of blames the fight on your sword because, you know, poor workman blames his tools, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, he retreats, to go continue the pursuit of Zelda elsewhere, I guess. Which
pretty.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he 100% could have killed us right here.
Could
easily.
Especially based
But
on,
he did
like,
promise.
Yeah, some later
He did
scenes
promise.
with him. Because,
Hey.
spoiler, he's reoccurring.
Girahim doesn't retreat, though. Girahim does reverse frontal charges.
Yeah, he leaves willingly of his own frontal charge accord.
He just charges right away from you. He's not running away. He's going the other way.
He's got higher priorities to tend to. You are not the biggest fish he has to fry right now.
Girahim doesn't retreat.
Girahim just reprioritizes.
I have better
Yeah.
things to do now.
Yes, with him defeated, we may go get the heart container.
Yeah.
And then go through the door.
Don't go through the
And
door
we'll
yet.
get to-
Wait. Don't do that. Hold on. Did you guys see what's in this room?
No,
On all the
there's a
walls?
sun on the floor. That's all I know. There's a sun on the floor.
There's a sun on the
What else?
floor, and if you look up, there's a big hole that looks out to the sky because, it's sky view. And all around the circle are swans, and they're all flying upwards towards the circle and the hole in the ceiling.
That's awesome.
Aw, they're trying to escape.
So this is the third iteration of swans in the temple.
Yeah, swans and or geese and or whatever. I think they're migratory
Groose.
birds. But yeah, Groose's namesake. All throughout this temple, it feels like this temple was either built in memory or like as some kind of historic landmark to kind of tell the story of like the migration of humans up into the sky. And they did that by representing them with swans or geese, and being that it's sky view, like maybe this is one of the places where if you were to look through one of these like viewing holes, you could actually see Skyloft. I don't know. That seems like super speculative, but it just does. It seems like there's a story being told of these birds moving through this temple and then up into the sky.
Mind?
I think it was just somebody had some kind of premonition that Groose would eventually exist, and this whole thing is just one giant temple to Groose. That's the only possibility in my mind.
In the honor of
Nah, but really though, that's a good thought, Fonz. I didn't even see a swan this whole temple, so
Yeah, I mean, see, I will say, like, Fonz, I remember I told you earlier that, like, me and Cameron were playing together. I didn't really look at anything up until I got to the volcano, because that's when I was kind of playing by myself. So I then took in everything, but up until that point, yeah, I didn't really take in the environment much.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I was trying to look for clues and stuff. I was very surprised when the first kind of bird that I found looked like a goose, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I already claimed I'm doing like the goose playthrough. Like I'm trying to learn about Groose and figure out what's going on with it. And I was like, is this Groose related? And I was like, by the time I got through it, I was like, I don't think it's Groose related. I think they're telling a story of migration.
Groose is long,
no.
long.
You're thinking of the Skyview Groosel down the road. That's dedicated to that guy. They mix up all the time.
The gooses, what do they mean? They're everywhere. Everywhere I go, I see more geese.
People said they were crazy. People said the pompadour wasn't real back then. They didn't know.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so are we good to go to the next through the door?
Yeah, we're good to go through the door. Why? What were you waiting for?
Well, so this place is called Skyview Spring, right? And it's a spring, obviously, right? And there's a goddess statue on it. There's water everywhere. There's broken platforms and stuff, and it's a spring, right? So
And it's a great place for ice skating. Wait, what?
We will get to that. You'll get there. You can explain that, but I'm like, you remember Breath of the Wild, the springs in there where Zelda tried to channel her goddess powers and she failed every time.
Yeah, it was like a natural spring on a mountain.
Wow. The harshness, Anthony.
She did?
But no, she really did. I mean, she was Goku with it, okay? Her power came at the last second. She needed to be earlier, not late. Her friends died because of it. Come on. Anyway, we're not talking about Breath of the Wild. So we are kind of. This spring, though, because this is the predecessor of Breath of the Wild. This spring, if you look at, I think it was Lanayru Spring. Or it could be the Hylia Spring. I don't really remember which spring in Breath of the Wild it was, but the broken down spring that's in Breath of the Wild literally looks like this spring right here. I'm not even kidding you. Like if
I think that was Lineru.
Was it? It was the one in the jungle where it always lightninged every time. Where there was like, yeah.
Oh no, Lineru was the corrupted one on top of the mountain.
Okay, then whatever one was the one in the like southern jungle where it rained and thundered all the time. It looks like this spring, but broken down. And I thought it was a cool future call.
Yeah, so the Spring of Courage is what you're talking about.
Okay. Then yeah, if that's that one, then yeah. But it looks like really similar, like with the pillars and just the way it was like kind of shaped.
And then across the water a little ways, once we get into the spring, we see a floating little Triforce bird thingy.
Yeah, one of the goddess emblems or whatever. They were supposed to use the Skyward
shoot
Strike
it with our goddess powers.
So did you guys know? You guys might have missed it, but there's 2 things that you can Skyward Strike here.
Is there a cube?
Shut up. Shut up. I missed it. Tell me now.
There's a cube behind the statue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Uh-huh.
How did they not tell me about this?
I'm returning the game.
My understanding from the intro of this game is that all of these springs were supposed to have been choked. So I didn't think that there would be any cubes.
Yep.
No, not really.
It's
but
behind the thing.
And when we shoot the goddess emblem with a Skyward Strike, Fee busts out of our sword like, yo, I got some info to dump on you. I'm feeling it. Didn't know it before. Coming back to me. Let me sing and dance.
Got a message for you. It's written in the language of the old gods.
Which has to be done with dancing. It has to.
Yep.
That's how you speak in goddess language, man.
B is a 5-time ice skating Olympic champion.
Yeah, so she proceeds to somehow float on the water of the spring while doing amazing Olympic level or higher ice skating moves while also explaining a very detailed story to you at the same time.
Multitasking.
Yeah, so
at its finest.
This message comes to us with a little a forward, like a signature, right? From the edge of time, I guide you, the one chosen to carry out the goddess's mission. So, I mean, that sounds kind of third person-y if it was supposed to be from the goddess. Unless it was one of the old gods that is talking, but apparently wherever this message is coming from, it's from the edge of time.
Yeah, it's like what the old lady was saying, you know, eternity.
It was an eternity ago because it was from the edge of time.
Well, he better be careful. Nobody wants to fall off time. You gotta be careful around the edge of it.
You gotta be careful around the edge of time.
Gotta be close.
Don't fall off the edge of time.
That's scary.
And she says the spirit maiden who descended from the clouds must travel to 2 sacred places to purify her body. You stand in one of these places, Skyview Spring. The other is known as the Earth Spring. The second spring is hidden away deep within the scorched earth of Eldin. The spirit maiden, ever mindful of the heavy task entrusted to her, has set out for this second sacred place. So, I mean, that might as well be Greek to Link because he never heard of Eldin before. But you know, why not? I mean, so this is these springs are for purification. So, I mean, she, I guess in theory she would come to the spring, bathe in the spring, I guess, in order to purify herself to be used by the goddess. I guess she's the spirit maiden, right? So.
It's basically the same thing that she was trying to do if you guys have played Breath of the Wild. Like, she's trying to purify herself to unveil her goddessly power.
To channel the spirit, right? She's a spirit maiden.
Yeah. Yep. On a side note, we get the ruby tablet.
We get a new destination!
Do. Yeah, so... I don't have anything else really to talk about.
I think that was literally the end of that. And then, if you want to, you can head back up to the sky.
Yeah, we can head back up to the sky. I guess where I would leave off this episode is with Groose. A Groose update. So
Groose update.
Tell us, what's he like?
So I did go back and check up on Groose after all this. And he basically, he's still upset. He's still in his room with his head hanging down. He's still in front of his mirror. Baby. But if you talk to him, you get a different line of dialogue as before. Like before, he would basically just be like, "Oh, it's all your fault. She fell because you had to win the wing ceremony, and it was supposed to be me, and now she's gone. It's all because of you." And he's all mad. He's like, "We'll figure out a way to get her back, man." And then so now if you go talk to him now, he's like, "Don't even think I don't see you leaving Skyloft and coming back and doing all these things like I know you're trying to find Zelda before I can." It's like, "But I'm going to find her first." And I'm like, "You haven't even left your mirror. Like, what are you doing?"
Oh, yeah. I talked to him when he said that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize it was at this point, but yeah.
I just want to point this out. So basically what you're telling me of what he's saying right now is sort of denial. Do you agree on that? Yeah, like he's denying that, like, not necessarily that Link, shouldn't have done this, but he's basically saying that shouldn't have happened. He's denying what happened. He's saying that shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't, he's denying that fact that this is exactly what happened. So I just want to point out that I don't know how the rest of the story is going to go with Groose, because I really don't remember his storyline other than a few points. But I just want to put this out right now that maybe his character arc follows the 5 stages of grief kind of in the beginning. Maybe. And we can explore it.
When it comes to Groose and the fact that he is like a goose, or like the things are telegraphed. So some cool goose facts, right? Geese tend to be monogamous creatures. I'm not saying that Groose is actually like married to Zelda, but he definitely sees himself as being paired to her. He has that big like main character energy. Like he thinks he's supposed to be the hero. He thinks he's he was supposed to win the wing ceremony and do all that, right? Like so he basically has claimed a few times that he believes that he should be Link in a way, or at least in Link's position, which is part of why he hates Link so much. He just, it just always seems like the thing that he wants to be doing is what Link is already doing.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about geese being, well, not the weird thing, but one of the interesting facts about geese being monogamous is that if one in a pair is like injured or dying, they will actually like stay behind while the flock moves on to like stay with them in their final moments or like to try to help them. And when they die, like if one of a pair dies, the other one actually spends some time in mourning before they move on. So it almost feels like Groose here, is in mourning over the possibility that Zelda is gone and that like all has happened. Like he's so distraught that he needs to take some time to mourn what has happened. Even though like the news should have spread by now that she's still alive and that it's fine, or not that's fine, like we're on the search, but like he is weirdly in denial about what happened. And it's like, he doesn't really know how to react yet. Like he's like, I'm going to find her first, but he hasn't moved,
Yeah. I kind of want to explore that, like H Groose update that we have. Like, I want to see if it kind of aligns with the 5 stages of grief. And if not, then, well, it was a theory or a thought.
I didn't know that about geese finds this beautiful. And now I think of them slightly less as just useless poop machines.
Swans and cranes. There's a lot of like crested cranes who are, with their partner for life.
Cranes are brutal.
Yeah, swans and geese are real similar, and like like the main way you distinguish between them is their size and like the length of their neck, but like they're really similar birds. Like they flock the same way. They're both monogamous the same way. Like when a swan mourns, that's where they get the phrase swan song, because swans aren't really known for singing, but like it's supposed to be like the most beautiful song they make, and it's when they're in mourning apparently. which is why like when something has its swan song, like normally that's like this amazing thing that happens like right at the end of its life or whatever. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of cool to think about.
All I know about swans and geese is that goose are jerks and hate me and my dog, and swans don't care. I could be standing next to a swan and they'll look up at me and go, "Sup, bruh? What you up to?" And I go anywhere within 20 feet of a goose and they're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Of the two, swans are the only ones that are known for like being peaceful and being like kind of a symbol of that. Like being a symbol of peace and tranquility, because they're really not like goose level territorial, you know? Which is part of why I think he was named Groose and not like, you know, Swanee or something, you know, like he's
Gron.
He's the big man on campus. He's Groose. But yeah, I mean, there was something else I wanted to share about this. Junk. I just had it.
We're over 2.5 hours.
I know we are. It is coming to a close, and half of that is Anthony pooping. So,
hey, that was 30 minutes. Okay, we're still at 2 hours.
Yeah, half an hour.
Not even. That was like 20 minutes. That was like 20 minutes. We're still over 2 hours. We were at an hour before we even got to the woods, and
okay.
I just want to put in a disclaimer. Don't eat Chipotle and wash it down with Taco Bell. This is what can happen.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds like a great combo. Disclaimer number 2. Don't go to Orlando, Florida. Don't go to Mr. Margarita. Don't go and get a jumbo burrito, which is double the size of a Chipotle burrito, and think that it's a good idea to eat it with Heat of the Aztec sauce.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I won't do that.
That's like the third time they've gotten that warning at this point. That's okay, though. So, the last thing I wanted to say was all throughout the temple where, you know, there were images of geese and swans and things like that. Like there were swirly bits as well that were like to simplify. Wow, that's a word. Goodness, to symbolize the like the wind, you know, like it seems like a big motif in this game is wind for whatever reason, even though we don't control the wind. This isn't Wind Waker. There's
do we?
There's like a lot of like goddess imagery that has like swirly wind shown, and like even in this temple there were a lot of birds with swirly wind shown, which just brings me to an update about Groose's family crest. I think where I'm leaning now is that his crest is actually just a goose flying forward, and that those two swirls are the updraft. Like those are the updraft from like a goose flying, to kind of symbolize the teamwork of geese. So I think that's I think that's my favorite interpretation of his family symbol.
New art.
No, the art can stay because it already has this in it.
No, I mean like our social media art.
Right. That's already.
I love how I just demanded. I was like, new art now.
We already have album. We have album art that already has the swirls. It's fine.
No, I know, but when you stream, like you usually like post like some fun little art tidbit. So that's what I was going with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure it out. I got to come up with like things for the next post anyway. But yeah.
But in the meantime, join us next time when we talk about Groose's workout routine, how many sit-ups he does, and how many pounds on the weight bench he can handle.
How many eggs does he eat every morning? Raw, of course, in the largest cup in the whole house.
What does he
He's
make his
not
protein
compensating.
smoothies with?
Will he ever find love? Find out next time on the.
Will he ever get out from in front of his mirror?
So yeah, so this has been our episode of A for No, B for Yes. Hope you guys can catch us on our social medias. We'll have links in the description. yeah, it's been a fun time going through. Definitely looking forward to getting our first piece of mail whenever that shows up.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Wink, wink.
Right.
We see you.
But yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts on the game are, where we're at, where we're going. Any questions about Ocarina of Time or thoughts on that game that you want to bring up? Like, we'll go through it. Like, we really want to meet you guys and figure out like where you stand with all this stuff. So
we'll have a fan mail segment.
Yeah.
Just for you.
Yeah, we're prepared to put one in. We have the capacity for it. So
yeah, we do.
All that's missing is your input. So yeah, other than that, hope you all have a good week or two ahead into our next episode. It'll be wherever you get your podcast, same Groose time, same Groose channel. Yeah. Y'all will catch you on the next one.
Goodbye, Sky Children.
I'm so done with you. Did you get all that?